Today we open the pages of history to the Battle of Berlin. In the dying days of World War II, amidst the rubble-strewn streets of Berlin, one last tank stood as the last bastion of German armored might. As the Allies closed in, this formidable beast roared through the chaos. Many know this as the Last Tiger, so join us today at History at War for an epic journey through history. The situation in Berlin deteriorated rapidly. On April 23rd, Soviet armies approached Berlin from the southeast. By April 24th, they reached the Berlin-S-Bahn Ring Railway. Hitler's reinforcements included only a small group of French SS volunteers, led by Gustav Krukenberg. On April 25th, Krukenberg became the commander of Defense Sector C, the most pressured sector. On April 26th, Soviet forces attacked Tempelhof Airport, facing resistance from the Müncheberg Division. By April 27th, the defending force of Berlin was forced back towards the center of the city, taking new positions around Hermannplatz. Krukenberg informed General Hans Krebs that Nordland would fall back to the center of Berlin within 24 hours. By this time, the situation was beyond dire. German men were nearing breaking point. Fighting was brutal. The Soviet advance focused on main axes from the southeast, south, and north, with heavy fighting at key locations like the Reichstag. Foreign SS contingents fought fiercely due to ideological motivation and the belief that capture meant certain death. During this time, some King Tigers survived and returned to Berlin to defend the capital. A detachment of around 12 King Tigers, having moved from the Battle of the Seelow Heights, the King Tiger tanks rumbled through the war-ravaged streets of Berlin. Their imposing presence struck both fear and awe into the hearts of those who witnessed their arrival. The city, once a symbol of German resilience, now stood as a battleground, its historic landmarks obscured by smoke and dust. The SS Heavy Panzer Battalion, 503, battle-hardened and determined, positioned their formidable machines strategically to thwart the relentless advance of the Soviet forces. The clash of steel echoed through the once grand boulevards, now reduced to a chaotic maze of rubble and ruins. The King Tigers became the last line of defense in the desperate struggle for Berlin. The Soviet offensive pressed on relentlessly, their infantry surging forward amidst the hail of gunfire and explosions. The King Tigers, though outnumbered, became the vanguards of resistance, their massive turrets swiveling to face each new threat. And those 6 to 9 remaining King Tigers, battered but resolute, had earned their place as indomitable symbols of German resistance. As the tanks retreated to the heart of Berlin, the cityscape transformed into a surreal battlefield. Streets once filled with civilians now echoed with the clatter of tank treads and the roar of engines. The King Tigers, now enmeshed in the urban warfare, showcased their adaptability, their thick armor proving a formidable shield against the close-quarter engagements. Amid the ruins and the chaos, the fate of Berlin hung in the balance. The King Tigers, with their crews determined and their machines formidable, engaged in a fierce dance with the Soviet forces. The once mighty city now bore witness to a desperate struggle, where every street corner and every building became a potential battleground. These tanks belonged to the 11th SS Panzer Grenadier Division Nordland. They meticulously deployed the behemoths in pairs, and a strategic dance unfolded within the divisional sector. Each King Tiger fought, strategically placed to defend the central government district, a symbolic and strategic epicenter of the crumbling Third Reich. Amid the grandeur of the district, where architectural marvels like the Reichstag and the Brandenburg Gate stood, the King Tigers found their purpose. The Reich Chancellery, a symbol of power and authority, loomed large as the King Tigers positioned themselves. Battle raged in this sector, and multiple Soviet tanks were eliminated. In a calculated move, a group of these mighty tanks assumed their posts near the Potsdamer Bahnhof railway station, nestled in the southeast corner of the government sector. From this vantage point, they surveyed the urban landscape, their massive barrels pointed toward the Landwehr Canal. This strategic placement aimed to intercept any Soviet tanks attempting to breach the defenses and advance toward the heart of the city. The King Tigers, with their thick armor and potent firepower, became the last line of defense around Hitler's bunker. At this location, around 13 enemy tanks were coming head-on, and they were met with destruction. Soon this place that would soon witness the final chapters of World War II in Europe. Poised and ready, these formidable tanks again awaited for more inevitable clashes. On that fateful day, 2 King Tigers were stationed resolutely outside Potsdamer Station, each bearing its own battles and the weight of impending conflict. Among them were SS Unterscharführer Georg Diaz's King Tiger, proudly marked as number 314, and SS Hauptscharführer Körner's formidable machine, designated as number 100. Orders crackled over the radio waves, cutting through the tension-laden air. The King Tigers were tasked with a strategic offensive, a thrust towards Anhalter Station in the southeast. This mission held crucial significance, as the outcome could sway the balance of power in the waning days of the Battle for Berlin. Leading this daring charge was SS Hauptscharführer Körner, a seasoned soldier whose battlefield prowess had become known. Having left a trail of destruction in his wake, Körner's King Tiger was a symbol of both fear and awe on the battlefield. With an astonishing feat of having dismantled over 100-plus Soviet tanks since the commencement of the Battle for Berlin, Körner embodied the relentless spirit of the German forces as they faced the encroaching tide of the Red Army. The King Tigers, under Körner's command, the thunderous rumble of their tracks echoed through the war-torn streets as they surged towards Anhalter Station. Each rotation of their massive turrets marked a step towards the front lines, where history was being written in the smoke and chaos of battle. As the King Tigers advanced, Körner's leadership cast a shadow over the crew, instilling a sense of determination and resolve. As the day unfolded, King Tigers 314 and 100 found themselves embroiled in a relentless dance of destruction, facing hordes of Soviet T-34s and formidable JS-2s. With each turret rotation, the King Tigers unleashed devastating firepower upon the advancing Soviet tanks. But the relentless onslaught of the Soviet forces pressed on, undeterred. The Soviets fought bravely against these King Tigers. However, things started to get dire. Ammunition was getting critically low, the crews were getting exhausted without sleep, and constant focus during this battle. As the evening shadows lengthened over the war-ravaged streets of Berlin, the once mighty King Tiger 100 found itself in a dire predicament. Stripped of its ammunition and rendered immobile due to a landmine. Having expended its last rounds in the desperate struggle to defend the crumbling remnants of the city, King Tiger 100 faced a moment of grim realization. The engine now completely shut off, its tracks immobile, made the difficult decision to abandon their tank. Yet, even in its vulnerable state, King Tiger 100 had one final act of defiance to offer. As a platoon of Red Army infantry approached, the abandoned tank, though devoid of movement, the mere sight of the battle-scarred tank served as a deterrent, compelling the Red Army infantry to approach with caution. As the dust settled over the desolate streets of Berlin, Diaz's King Tiger 314 stood alone, a solitary sentinel amidst the ruins. Despite the relentless onslaught of the Soviet forces, this lone tank with an impressive tally of 39-plus knocked-out Soviet tanks, Diaz's King Tiger, was against all odds. The news of Hitler's death, echoing through the mid-afternoon air, marked a turning point in the already dire situation. Faced with the changing tide of fate, a pivotal decision emerged, a daring attempt to break out from the besieged Reich Chancellery area. The chosen path, a precarious journey across the Weidendarm Bridge towards Spandau in the north of Berlin, would test the limits of courage and determination. Diaz, at the helm of King Tiger 314, embraced the challenge with a steely resolve. The tank, battered but not broken, rumbled to life once again. The decision to break through the encirclement, the Weidendarm Bridge, a fragile link in the midst of chaos, became the gateway to the north, and Diaz's King Tiger aimed to traverse it against overwhelming Soviet resistance. At the stroke of 2100 hours, the pivotal moment arrived, the commencement of the daring breakout. running tanks and half-tracks assembled in a desperate bid for freedom, with the last King Tiger, Diaz's 314, standing as a formidable cover in the convoy. The air crackled with tension as the convoy, now a symbol of defiance, prepared to navigate the treacherous journey through the war-ravaged streets of Berlin. Among those seeking escape were notable figures, including Martin Bormann and several senior staff members. The convoy, a fusion of military might and a lot of desperate civilians trying to flee with the German army, forged ahead, reaching Friedrichstrasser station under the shroud of night. However, the respite was short-lived, as the echoes of intense Soviet fire pierced the air, turning the station into a battleground. Extremely heavy battles were now underway. Undeterred, King Tiger 314 led the charge, its massive form cutting through the chaos. The widened dam bridge became a crucible of conflict as the convoy, flanked by hundreds of German troops and civilians, navigated through a storm of bullets and explosions. The tumultuous crossfire claimed many civilian lives. The determined convoy, with Diaz's King Tiger at its forefront, pressed on until it reached Humboldt-Hind Park. However, the journey was fraught with peril. In a cruel twist of fate, the mighty King Tiger 314, which had defied the odds and faced numerous challenges, succumbed to the destructive force of a German mine. The explosive impact rendered the once indomitable tank disabled, bringing the charge to an abrupt halt. Diaz and his crew faced the harsh reality of their incapacitated King Tiger 314. With the once mighty tank now disabled by the German mine, the crew made a difficult decision to abandon their tank. For Diaz and his crew, however, the story did not end on the desolate streets of Berlin. The decision to abandon the tank proved to be a life-saving choice. Escaping the clutches of war, they survived the tumultuous days that followed, leaving behind the wreckage of battle and the remnants of a city in ruins. As for King Tiger 314, its fate took a different turn. Left behind in Humboldt-Hind Park, the once proud tank became a silent relic of a bygone era. However, its journey did not end there. In the aftermath of the war, the Russians, consolidating their control over Berlin, decided to scrap the tank. Diaz and his crew, survivors of the storm, carried the memories of their wartime experiences into the post-war world. And there you have it, the incredible tale of the last Tiger of Berlin and its crew. Their story is a testament to the resilience and courage of those who served on the front lines during some of the most challenging times in history. If you enjoyed diving into this piece of World War II history with us, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more captivating stories from the past. What are your thoughts on the last Tiger of Berlin? Do you have any other historical events or topics you'd like us to explore? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you want to stay updated on our latest videos, make sure to hit that notification bell. Thanks for joining us on this journey through history. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the stories that shaped our history. We will see you guys soon.